Hello friends, welcome to part 3 in a series of videos that I'm making on my latest forecast thread that I tweeted out. Let me go ahead and bring up Twitter and go to my bookmarks here. And I will show you. Okay, so this is part 3 I just mentioned. I will leave links in the video description to parts 1 and 2 in case you missed them. Part 1 was the first 4 of these tweets. Let me click on this thread, 69 tweet thread from February the 14th. My second video in the series covered tweets 5 through 10, which means I'll be covering 11 through 17 in this video. So let's jump right into it. This tweet is the only one in my forecast thread that shows CEO Performance Award expense. So what is this 2018 CEO Performance Award business about? Well, in March of 2018, when Elon Musk was being paid no salary, he takes no salary at all, or cash bonus guaranteed from Tesla, he agreed to work for the company in exchange for a 10-year compensation plan that expires in 2028 with some really aggressive targets in it for market cap growth, revenue growth, and profit growth. And that if he met enough of those very aggressive business goals, people who owned Tesla would see a tremendous return, more than a 10x on their investment from the share price of the day. And he would be awarded as many as 12 tranches of stock options, allowing him to purchase shares in the future for the same price they were trading at in March of 2018. That's how the stock options worked. So as Tesla made progress under Elon's leadership towards achieving each of those goals, Tesla had to declare compensation expense on their income statement because Tesla reports their earnings using the GAAP accounting treatment that requires accrual basis accounting. So you record the expenses not when the cash changes hands, but as progress is being made towards it, is the way the rule works. So very early in the process, these expenses were small because very little progress had been made towards these aggressive goals. But as the market cap of Tesla increased, and as revenue increased, and as earnings increased, larger and larger portions of the total maximum expense determined at the plan's outset was declared as expense on Tesla's income statement, so that almost all of it has been expensed already. So not only does Tesla not pay Elon any salary or any guaranteed cash bonus like most CEOs get, there's going to be almost no CEO compensation expense relatively declared going forward. So my forecast for 2022 is a total of about $65 million, which is about as much as Tesla could possibly expense in association with this plan. Will there be another performance plan for Elon? We'll have to wait and see. All right, so that's that chart. Let me move on to the next one. So tweets 11 through 17 really are all about revenue and analytics. So this is one of the most analytical charts in the deck. It's an unusual one. You don't see this chart presented very often. And I've been tweeting it since before Zach mentioned it on one of the earnings calls, describing this relationship in particular between these two metrics. So let me open this up and make it big. We've got two axes on this chart. One of them is the automotive gross margin excluding regulatory credits as a percentage. over here. So these bars, these columns on the chart are showing you on a 0 to 35% scale how much Tesla's automotive gross margin, excluding regulatory credits, so throw the regulatory credits out, what's the true profit per dollar made on selling vehicles? That number has gone up a lot. So these are all actuals here, 2018 through 2021. There's no forecast on this page. The other axis shows average revenue per delivery on a scale of 0 to $91,000. How much revenue is Tesla making, automotive revenue, per vehicle sold? Well, that number was over $90,000. And it has been decreasing pretty steadily. Now, why? Is this a bad thing? No, it's being driven by mix. So Tesla still sells about as many Model S and Model X vehicles today as they used to before Model 3 came onto the market. But Model 3 is a lot more affordable, and it's a great value for anybody looking to buy a Tesla. Then Model Y came along, same story. So a lot more people are buying Model 3 and Model Y at much lower prices. Those are a lot more affordable vehicles for a much larger total addressable market, people who can afford that vehicle. So that's why the average prices have been coming down. It's because so many more Model 3s and Model Ys are being sold today at lower prices. So this mountain range in the background keeps coming down. I mean, it's leveled out here some, and I won't be surprised if we see a little bit of growth next year due to the worldwide supply chain and chip shortage problems, as well as demand for Tesla's exceeding Tesla's ability to produce. But look how the margins have been improving despite the reduction in revenue per vehicle. This is not what you would expect to have happen. All things being equal, if revenue per vehicle is falling dramatically over time, I mean, this is not a subtle change from about 90 grand per vehicle to less than 52 grand per vehicle. That's dramatic. You would expect these percentages to get worse because you wouldn't think they would be able to reduce the cost per vehicle by more, by a greater percentage than the revenue fell. But what you see here is exactly that. This is mix improving as far as cost per vehicle. So more vehicles being produced in Shanghai than in Fremont. California costs are just higher than they are to produce vehicles in China. And also continued focus on lowering cost per vehicle through innovation, things like the heat pump on the Model Y. The best part is no part, the best process is no process. The more scale you're able to ramp up to, the better your costs per vehicle will get, because for each hour of labor, you're producing more vehicles, right? Those are the kinds of things that are making Tesla more profitable over time, even as revenue per vehicle falls. Really important information here. You will not find other companies that have a similar chart telling the same story over this time period. Let's go to the next tweet. So on tweet 13 of my forecast thread, I showed for the first time a chart of operating cash flows, capital investment, and free cash flow. Now, why those three things? Well, because those three things have a relationship with each other. What is free cash flow? Free cash flow is operating cash flow minus capital spending. So what do we mean when we say capital spending? What does that represent? That's buying assets, long-lived assets that you're going to be able to use for a long period of time. They have a long useful life. They cost a lot of money in the first place, so they're expensive, and they're going to be helping your company make money over that useful life. That's what capital assets are. So you can think of buildings, equipment, robots to go into your factory are a good example of capital spending. You have to buy those, you have to pay for those as soon as you buy them. So when you receive those, within 30 or 60 days, whoever you bought them from expects to receive cash payment for them. So on a cash basis for accounting, that's what this capital spending is representing. How much was the total capital purchases in each of these quarters? So if your operating cash flow is more than that capital spending, then you can afford to pay for all of that capital that you had to purchase out of your operating cash flows and still have money left over. And that positive amount of money that you still have left over would be positive free cash flow. Or if it's a negative, like we see in 2018, that just means that you spent more on capital in that quarter than your operating cash flows were. So that leaves you with negative free cash flow. You see, since Q3 of 2018, there hasn't been any 12 trailing month time period when Tesla had negative free cash flow. It's been positive the whole time. And look at this trend upwards. That is not subtle. It's easy to see. And remember, these are actuals, not a forecast. It's easy to see that Tesla's operating cash flow is growing by more than their capital spending is growing through a period of vigorous capacity expansion. Tesla is building 2 factories with a lot of capital equipment in them over 2021. So there's a lot of free cash flow left even after funding those capital purchases. That's a strong chart. Next, we go to a few revenue charts. So here's one that I've been tweeting for a long time. And I used a template available on flourish.studio, a website that has a lot of free public templates available. You just bring your data to their templates and then tweak the formatting to what you would like them to look like. So this one is showing Tesla's revenue for every year since they went public back in 2010. I've got 2009 here as well. So it was $73 million in 2009. And look how that number has grown over time. And of course, the visual is here to help you get a better feel for the magnitude of this increase and how relentless the revenue growth has been over time. This is pretty remarkable, up to more than $53 billion worth of revenue in 2021. I like to look at the Q1s and see how much these Q1s have grown over time. Q1 of 2021, almost as much as 2017's full year revenue. That's how fast Tesla is growing. In the first half of 2021, Tesla made more revenue than they made all year in 2018. So that's one way of looking at Tesla's revenue growth, and it's been pretty popular on Twitter as I've tweeted that out over the years, updating it. So in tweet number 15, I have an update. Now, you'll notice this is not my format. I have a pretty distinct format for how I like to display graphic visualizations like this one. This one is an homage to TeslaCharts because in Q2 of 2020, right here, TeslaCharts tweeted this chart out for the last time and never updated it or tweeted it again. I wonder why he would have picked that quarter in particular to stop publishing this chart. Oh, maybe it's because every single quarter since then, Tesla's revenue has been more than it had been on any of these bars. That's probably why. I did another video where I updated several other charts for TC that he hasn't updated in a while. I'll put that link in the video description as well so you can check it out. And lastly, here's another new chart that I made for this 69 tweet forecast thread. This one is a tree map So what I like about this one is it divides Tesla's revenue up pretty neatly into thirds. So over the life of the Tesla Corporation, their revenue has been made 1/3 last year, 1/3 the 2 years before that, and then the remaining third was made from 2009 through 2018. So yeah, about 10 years worth of revenue you can see in this oldest third of Tesla's revenue, and just tremendous growth since. You take this 31.5 plus this 24.6, that makes 56 billion in this middle section of the chart. Almost that much in 2021, almost 54 billion. So just one other way of looking at how Tesla's revenue has grown over the years. And let me take you to this one, not part of my forecast, but I do update a Stephenson Indicator chart, thus named. A few months ago, I've been tweeting this chart out for a while, but my friend Fresh Jiva on Twitter, you can follow him, Mayur Thaker, named it Stephenson Indicator jokingly. We were both joking because this was a trend that was very obvious to anybody who was just looking at a 1-year chart at the time. This is more like a 2-year chart at this point. And I just tweeted out an update to this. If you've been following Tesla over the past week, you know this chart hasn't been updated because Tesla stock price did fall significantly below Stephenson Indicator. Let me show you what it looks like now. Yeah, so you've got a pretty significant drop here, and then a pretty significant recovery already. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. Technical analysis is phrenology. I like to say frequently, phrenology is the long debunked pseudoscience of trying to divine insights about a person's mind by measuring the bumps on their head. That used to be a thing in the 1800s. People would say that they could do that. That's what I think technical analysis is. All right, so I will go back to my forecast thread and wrap up, because I only said I was going to go through 17. So I will do 18 through the end of the thread in my next video. So at this point, I will say, if you like this video, click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, click subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.